Welcome to Queer Next, the podcast that puts the yeehaw in y'all means all. I'm your host, Beck.
And I am your host, Dash. Welcome to today's episode. I went to the store and bought some candy earlier. Which holiday or season do you think has the best candy?
Easter or Halloween.
I think it's Easter.
But I think it's Easter because there's a lot more variety, I think.
Yeah. And I don't know that like companies like really go out of their way to make this ASMR now.
Yeah, sorry.
Oh, I love those.
I love miniature versions of food.
And I just love the egg stuff. Like that's some of my favorite. I love a Cadbury egg. That's what I just got earlier. And the only time you see them is around Easter in stores anyway. Maybe, I'm sure they sell them year round. You could probably buy them off a website somewhere.
Oh, I'm sure Amazon has them.
But I like the mini Cadbury eggs too, like the ones that are kind of like that, but it's the Cadbury brand.
These are Whoppers.
Okay, so they're malted milk in the center.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, nice. Like Reese's ones, but it's not just candy that you can get year round that is in the shape of an egg suddenly. Like there's different flavors too, like all of the different miniature candy coated chocolates out there with like almond in them. I think M&M's does some. There really is there's a lobby for everything, but like the holidays, it's funny that there's like the candy company or whatever, the candy block. They're like, okay, here's our capitalist candy for X holiday. What would you call the candy lobby?
The industrial sugar complex.
Yes. Big candy. Big candy does not sound.
It sounds like a particular kind of stripper.
Yeah, exactly. A woman of specific talents or a really good boxer.
You could be John Candy. He was a big candy. Yeah.
Happy Friday to you and happy Monday to the listeners.
Friday the 13th.
Oh my gosh, it is.
Yes.
It's like the second one we've had this year. Yeah.
February was a perfect month. It started on Sunday the 1st and ended on Saturday the 28th. So March is a mirror of February. So it happens the same way.
Is it always like that?
No.
Those 2 months?
No, it just happened to line up that way.
I remember like those kinds of things being a big deal when we were kids, like those kinds of coincidences. People would get really into those and they all seem like really significant to them, especially. Do you know anybody who believes in like number theory? Is that what it's called?
My mom liked to do that stuff for lottery numbers, but not too much. No. That's why I said the other day I needed some white girl to tell me what stars were making me sad.
It's not number theory. I don't know what it's called.
Numerology.
I'm not gonna come up with it. Maybe that mystical study of the relationship between numbers and events using birth dates and names to determine personality traits. Vibrational energy?
Speaking of energy, I like all the patterns you're wearing. That brings a specific kind of energy here. You got some plaid, you got some stripes, and some camo.
I got cold and got like sweats and then a hoodie, and then I was still cold because I'm sitting in front of one of the broken windows. There's only so many outlets upstairs. And so I just put on my bathrobe, and then my head was cold and I needed a hat, and this was the only hat I had up here. This is actually one of the hats David wore in Iraq.
Oh, wow.
So I don't really wear it much because you see it's that sand camo the army used. It's like that digital. I don't know. It is not very comfortable, but my head is warmer.
There's that.
You wouldn't think that they would need like thermal clothes for the desert, but apparently it gets super cold at night over there.
Yeah, I think I knew that. Not that I've ever been there or anything. We established my out-of-country experience the other day going to Canada for fries and a cherry Pepsi.
For French, I will go to Canada for some French fries. It is a little tight though. It's not a super comfortable hat.
Yeah.
Oh well.
I keep my hats right here beside where I sit to do this. I have a couple of little hooks, so I put them there.
I mean, it's just really messy in here, and so I think that's why I'm upstairs now. I started putting together like my office space, and I'm here in the trans flag room, which I guess is going to be my office. I don't know. I doubt the person who painted it these colors was thinking trans flag, but that is sure what they painted these walls as. we've got, that pastel pinky purple on the top, and then the exact color blue on the bottom, and then that a white, what's this called? It's not waistcoating. It's like a chair rail. It
Yeah.
goes around the middle.
Yeah. The
Yeah.
trim.
Yeah. So it looks just like the trades.
It's kind of awesome.
I mean, I might
Kismet.
leave it. I know. It's hideous too. It's the only room that's painted like this. The rest of them are kind of normal. I'm thinking it must have been a kid, but
Could have been twins.
yeah, could have been. A whole mess of people lived in this house. It was, before I learned that it was like just a family, a big family, I really thought that it was some like crash pad roommate situation. There was one in the basement, 4 or 5 of them up here on the top floor, a couple on the main floor. It's not that big of a house.
Right. That's a lot.
I wouldn't want to live in the basement. Good God.
Oh, hell. I don't like basements at all. Even when they're finished.
They're kind of a hard sell even when they're nice, but mine is not nice. No wonder he was high all the time.
In Shanna and my first apartment, our laundry facilities were in the basement. And we had to go down these rickety ass stairs to go down like an unfinished basement. It was very creepy down there. I was so glad when we moved out of that house. There were some murders that happened in Huntington, West Virginia. It would have been 2004 when it happened. Some
I
kids
thought you
were
meant like recently.
no. So some kids were doing after prom at this guy's house, and one of them did a drug deal gone bad, and the drug dealer barged in and shot everybody at the party. And there were bodies strewn everywhere of these high school students. It was a kind of a big deal, and they didn't know who did it. I don't know if it was recently in the news again. I don't know if it was an anniversary or if they found who did it or what, but they didn't know who did it for a long time. And it happened 3 blocks from my house, same street. I was home when it happened.
Wow.
Yeah, because it was late at night.
Yeah, I guess. Mom, I guess she was watching the news and she called me and she asked me if she'll do this sometimes. Like, do you recognize such and such name from Williamsburg? No. I probably couldn't pick people I had fucked out of a lineup.
Right?
That is so gone from my memory. Like, the experience of being there is, but not the people. Good Lord. There's a handful of them that I'll remember for the rest of my life. And the rest of them were backdrop, right? They were like the setting. They do not factor into who I am today. But it'll be like, well, yeah, he just murdered somebody. Or it's always some like high drama. I wonder, listeners, if any of y'all are from like a big town, is this a thing to your parents? If you're from like a big city, do your parents call you and go like, such and such from your high school murdered somebody?
Or have you ever had a good friend commit a heinous crime?
Definitely want to know about that.
Yeah. Like, there was a guy when I worked at the studio. Listeners, I used to be a photographer. I did high school seniors and weddings, kids, babies, all that kind of stuff. And I worked there for a while. And so he got hired in for a while as my assistant. He would like clean the floors and help me set stuff up. And he was a nice kid. I liked him a lot. And I kind of lost track of him, because you go your separate ways and it wasn't like we were best friends or whatever. But I really thought he was a good kid. And I was friends with him on Facebook because he's cousins with the guy that I graduated high school with. Anyway, long story short, it turns out he sexually assaulted his stepdaughter, said he fell in love with her, like disgusting stuff like that. And he's in prison for like life because it was like 13 counts of rape or whatever.
Wow.
And it blows my mind it just blows my mind. I was so wrong about somebody's character.
Mm-hmm. I just fell down a rabbit hole of just Googling people that I went to high school with. It's like dead, murderer, sex crimes.
How many people in your life have you known that have been murdered?
Oh, I would say it's probably not more than 10. It just somewhere between 5 and 10. But they weren't like besties, They weren't people I knew very well. It was just, you just kind of know people that die sometimes. And that may not be as common an experience as it seemed like it is to me. What about you?
The last time I tried to count, I think it was 6. Like and when I was a kid, mom's best friend, or one of her best friends, a lady named Annette, and Mark's best friend, my adopted father, Danny, they were both murdered. Not together. Annette was murdered by her stepson, and Danny was murdered by his wife. So right there's 2 people. And then there was a lady that was a friend of she's like a chosen aunt, if that makes sense. You know, she's not actually family, but she might as well be family. It was her best friend adopted a kid, and she brought him over for pictures at the studio. And he's the only kid that insisted on a picture with a cigarette hanging out of his mouth. The only one that ever did. I remembered him very well. And he turned around and murdered her like a year later. The lady
Well,
that was taking care of him.
I think I've known, well, I don't know about more, but like the people I know who were murderers, I knew better than the people I had known who were murdered. And you know, I'm using that word kind of generally because there's some manslaughter in there too, like some like vehicular homicide, that kind of thing. Like it wouldn't, I don't. Well, no, I do know somebody who actually just recently, somebody in Richmond that I used to work with was sentenced to murder one.
Wow.
And he used to date my ex-girlfriend.
Oh, wow.
He murdered his wife.
That's what you get.
Yeah.
My uncle, he was my great uncle. He was my grandmother's brother, was a real weirdo. That's what I was always told, that he was a weirdo. That's why we didn't go around him. But I remember him distinctly from when I was little. He got beaten up and murdered on his front porch by a group of boys. Like, I think he got into an argument with them and they came up and killed him. And then my cousin, Barbie, she was murdered. She was strangled.
I don't think I'm related to anybody that's been murdered. I think I am related to somebody that murdered somebody, though.
Yeah. I have some cousins I think could absolutely do it.
There's a lot of people that, I mean, people die accidentally from just getting in fistfights.
Yeah.
Especially because they won't go to the hospital or anything, and they won't call the law. One person I'm thinking of got in a real bad fistfight while they were drunk and went home and took some just pain pills or whatever and went to sleep and died of internal bleeding in his sleep from just how bad that he got beat.
Wow.
And probably also from drinking, and that like thins your blood and makes internal bleeding worse.
Right.
But yeah, I mean, people, I don't know. Our bodies are like a mixture of like absurdly tough and also just so specifically weak,
fragile
in very bizarre ways.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like babies, you can do anything to them except that one tiny little spot on the top of their head. If you poke that, they'll die immediately.
Yeah, don't even touch it.
Yeah.
I saw somebody talking about what it's like to look at the spot. Like you can actually see like sometimes their heartbeat in there, and like you can see the brain moving. It's not the brain moving, but you know.
Ew.
Ew, yeah.
As Jimmy Fallon would say. Ew.
Ooh, guess who came to fucking Ohio and northern Kentucky yesterday?
I saw. Yeah, I think it was yesterday. Ugh. Glad I wasn't down there. Where was it, Cincinnati that he went to? I just knew he went to Ohio and Kentucky.
Yeah, it's both. It's really, I don't know exactly what he was doing. Like, this is such a specific location, and he absolutely beat feet to get there. Like, it was like they just went straight to Cincinnati and did some shit there. I don't know. Clogged up all the roads. I know that. People weren't able to pick their kids up and stuff. And then went to Frankfort or northern Kentucky and was flogging for some dude. I thought it would be Andy Barr, or at least somebody I had heard of. It's not. It's some like random MAGA that they want to beat Thomas Massey. Like they're afraid Thomas Massey's going to win in Kentucky. Mitch McConnell's ancient tortoise ass is out.
Yeah, thank God.
Oh God, talk about overstaying your welcome.
Right?
He has overstayed his welcome on planet Earth. What do we have to do? I mean, I do feel a little bit gross in this like situation we have to be in here where like, God, I guess we have to hope these fuckers die because that's the only way to get them out of office.
Yep.
It's the only way to get these dinosaurs off our dicks about like what our society should even look like, right? How it should function. What's the name of that genocide institute? Something sort of with an L. Lemkin. I'm just making. Oh my God, it is Lemkin. Lemkin Institute for Genocide Prevention. This is a international watchdog. They have given their third red flag alert on transgender genocide in the U.S. because it's just on cruise control now. Like they're if you're following any of the blogs, right? If you're getting updates from Aaron in the morning, or bizarrely, Pink News is really covering the anti-trans legislation in the U.S. I guess because they're UK based, they can have a really fine lens on that kind of thing. They went from, I think it was 2020, Pink News was rightly criticized for having no trans representation, no like coverage of what trans people were experiencing, to now they have this whole wing that only covers that. So if you're not subscribing to any of those, you could easily miss one of these damn bills because they're just like rapid fire these days. But the Lemkin Institute, the red flag they just issued is to do with the volume of bills that are not only being introduced but passing. I did see, I guess they're going to start, I don't know for what, but for a lot of like pro sports, they're going to start chromosomal testing to prove you're a woman.
That's ridiculous. There's going to be a whole lot of
It
people who
is.
are confused about the results about that.
Because we've done it before. Do you know why we stopped?
Because there were so many people that found out they were the wrong chromosome gender.
Yes.
Yeah.
Because cis people didn't like finding out that they were fucking intersex.
Yeah.
They did not enjoy the experience of marginalization, of being told that they were one thing when they knew themselves to be another thing. And it's been long enough now, apparently, that they forgot about that. So they're going to start doing it again, and they will not like what they find. I do. Actually, I think that a lot of the intersex disorders are pretty common.
Oh, yeah. It's as common as red hair. As many natural redheads you've met in your life, you've met just as many intersex people.
Yeah. I think it's cool, The cats are going crazy. Anytime Felix plays, he has to hiss a lot. He's enjoying himself, but it really sounds like he's not. You're sending mixed signals, buddy.
That's how emo people are.
Were you ever emo? Were you a scene kid?
No, not whatsoever. I've always been just an androgynous nerd.
I think a lot of people would say that emo and scene were androgynous, which I guess is true, but it was kind of a glam, like a high glam sort of androgyny leaning on the side of femininity, but maybe like a hardcore femme. I certainly for a while there, I would dye my hair black and straighten it and shit like that. And that felt pretty feminine for me.
Feminine was never a goal for me. There was like for prom, of course, I dressed up for stuff like that. But like homecoming, I was wearing flannel. I wasn't putting a dress on for some bullshit like that. Since high school, I've worn a dress exactly 3 times to 2 funerals and 2 weddings and 1 funeral. That's it.
Shut up. Maybe if I hold her, she'll be quiet.
She's so pretty. I've got a chihuahua wedged between my back and the back of the couch. She likes to get in there just as tight as she can get. And then Wenda's on her back, laying with her feet up in the air next to me.
They are shedding. Do dogs shed? Do your dogs shed when it gets...
Oh, yeah. Like, this house was nothing but black fur when baby was here. Just quarter to quarter. Just black fur everywhere.
Yeah, there are Ziggy-sized cat fur dust bunnies on the stairs. I don't know why they collect on the stairs, and I find that like a really tricky spot to clean. Ziggy, go away! She's just screaming at me. I can't figure out what she wants. And I can tell it's something. She's not like going like, hello. She wants something, and I don't know what it is. I cannot provide it.
I gave 3 exams this week, and I have so much grading to do, and I have another one on Monday.
I am going to do something insane and apply to an English faculty job.
Nice.
Writing specifically. And I can already, I do remember how much grading it was. I don't have amnesia about it. I hope that I'm faster at it now and maybe have some better habits. But I do think it would be fun to be teaching writing again. It's not just writing. They also need literature, which wasn't ever my thing, but I can do it.
Yeah. I hated being an English teacher because that's what I did at Shawnee
All
State.
of it?
I liked the classes. I liked the conversations that we got into. I liked the technical details because in our field, there are no technical, hard facts usually. It's usually theories and that kind of stuff. And so it was nice to have, some hard facts to deal with. But it was so much grading and so much bad writing.
Yeah. The thing I'm worried about is the fact that it is going to be so much AI generated essays.
Did I probably have not told you the story of one of the first assignment for the semester was to take a word from the dictionary and write basically a short essay about it, like look up the definition of it, look up the history of it, that kind of thing. And I was like, you could use a cuss word if you want to, like fuck, because I thought that would be fun, right? This kid decided he's going to put fuck me harder, daddy, as his term. Like,
That's not a.
yeah, we had to have a conversation about that. And he rewrote it. He like was so embarrassed. And I was like, no. I let him rewrite it because that was just some very bad judgment.
Is this a freshman?
Yes, it was a freshman.
Okay. So they
Hard.
heard academic freedom and
Yeah, went for it.
I would never have done something like that. Like I still think back sometimes on the essays I wrote, especially in undergrad, and I'm like, whoa, that's so cringy. What a dumb thesis or something like that. Like I'm already judgmental. I was pretty good. Like I was a decent, I don't know about writer, but like I wasn't making dumb arguments and I'm still kind of judging myself about them. So if I had done some shit like that, my millennial ass would just pass away.
Right.
The millennials and Gen Z are fighting online again.
Are they? Why?
I'm not super sure, but what I saw was some Gen Z people are like, they're kind of mad at millennials for not preparing them. It's weird. I don't know. Like for what? I don't know. Or it could just be that like general feeling of, I can't believe you didn't fix the world before you gave it to me.
Right.
That a lot of people feel like it's just Gen Z's turn to go through it. And they happen to be directing at millennials because they're confused about the generations. I saw somebody on TikTok said that they had been fighting with a Gen Z person that thought the boomers fought in World War II.
Oh.
Do you know how old those people would be? Do you know
Yeah.
what boomer means?
Yeah.
What do you think boomer means? I'm dying to know in your mind where a nickname like that comes from.
That's funny. I can't keep straight who after because I'm a Zennial, an Xennial, or however you say it, the generation between Gen X and
I think it's
millennial.
Zennial.
Yeah, because there was definitely a culture change for a very brief. Like we were the last ones to take typing on typewriters, and the first ones to learn Word Perfect.
Mavis Beacon.
Right? Yeah. I mean, I learned how to type on a word processor in my freshman year. In my senior year, I learned Word Perfect on a computer. Like it was evolving that fast. And we were the last ones that had, computer free Christmases and TV shows and that kind of stuff. And we were the first ones to experience AOL and other online joys. So I think we're a unique blend of the two generations. Because there's some Gen X stuff I just don't get.
Yeah. Well, and Gen X had the difficult job of creating the digital age and digital era, but like trying to decode or predict what it was going to look like, and they were wrong. It's kind of fun on YouTube. You can find old like news reels or documentaries of the transhumanists and these folks like talking about what the web is going to be like and what it's going to provide us. I don't know if it's that we just decided not to do it or it wound up not being as fun as we thought, but we just, and we probably commodified it to a point that it was, became completely not for us. It is for making money. It's not for people. So yeah, it was the younger Gen X who weren't building it, but were kind of inheriting it. And then the older millennials who wound up being the digital people. Do you know what I was doing in my typing, Mavis Beacon classes?
What?
I was getting on the internet and going into chat rooms and meeting girls online because they let us have the internet in the computer lab, in the computer classroom.
Right.
And I got caught, of course, but I kind of miss those chat rooms.
Me too.
You can go in and just kind of be whoever. Sometimes I would be a jerk and then get booted and then just create a new handle and go back in again and be a different person.
I made a lot of friends on AOL. People that I'm still friends with today. Well, most of them no. Most of them have fallen by the wayside. But a few of them I'm still friends with today.
I wasn't on AOL that much. By the time that came around, I had gone to college. I didn't have a computer in college. Most of the time I spent on the internet during those like formative years was from like 8th grade to 12th grade in high school. And it was the school computers. So I couldn't create my own login. It couldn't do AOL, but there were these MUD user rooms, multi-user dungeon, that quite a few of the kids from school would go into, actually. And we would just tell each other who are like, my handle is this. And so we could, it was interesting. It was like we were hanging out with each other and strangers in these chat rooms. I think they were just IRC chat rooms, internet relay chat. They weren't anything associated with an actual login or email address or anything like that.
Do you remember your early screen names?
Yeah. For the longest time, I was human beings. I thought it was clever as hell. I actually used that one on MySpace too for a long time. What about, do you remember any of yours?
Yeah, mine was Case and Trance, and it looked like it was Case Entrance. My two cats were Casey and Trance, so it was Case and Trance. And I thought also that was very intelligence to do. But yeah, I was Case and Trance for a long time.
Some of them are actually still my passwords, so I'm not going to share. I had used my cats before, though, like cat names. One time when David was in from Iraq, he often either wouldn't have a current license, and so he wasn't licensed to drive. And so I would take him places, and I took him through the ATM line at the bank. And so he was in the passenger seat, and he just gave me his card. And he told me his PIN, and it was the same as mine. We had chosen the exact same PIN. That was back when you chose your PIN.
Right.
And I just looked at him and I was like, you picked, okay, that's my PIN as well, in case you ever need to get in my bank account. I mean, it wasn't just a random number. It was a number from our childhood, but we both picked the same one.
Right.
I don't know. I think we would have been friends if he'd stayed alive, but we also probably would disagree about a shitload of stuff.
Do you think he would have been a Trumper?
I don't know. I think about that actually pretty often. You know, I think about my dad, his Republicanness and his Baptistness, and how worried I was for him. Like, he watched Fox News all the time. For a long time, like, that was his thought train, was all of these extremely worryingly and increasingly retrograde conservative positions. But Trump was just a bridge too far for him, and he can't stand him, and it's made him into a Democrat. I think my dad made the party shift. Like, he's the last stop on the party shift express. Like, he's finally a Democrat when the Democrats have been the progressive party for 20 years now, 30 years more. God, what fucking year is it? You know what I mean? Party shift happened it began in the late 60s, depending on where you are located in the US, and it hit where he was living in the 70s. So by then, he was like staunchly identified with the Republican Party as the party of progressives. Like, one of the reasons he registered Republican was their anti-racism. So for him, small government, all those talking points, they made sense in the context of civil rights. The government shouldn't restrict people's freedom. But as the Republican Party became the party of Nixon and then Reagan and began its very racist campaign, the party shift was to the people it actually happened to. We talk about it like it's all theoretical. To the people it actually happened to, it happened piecemeal, and it took parts of their beliefs and made them mean something else in a different context. It's basically the mechanism by which they pitted people against each other. And so for a long time there, his identity as a Republican was weaponized against his ideals of equality. And I thought it was going to be permanent because it's clearly happened to multiple people, right? The Republican Party twisted on everybody.
Yeah.
So I guess to answer your question, It's possible David could have avoided becoming a Trumper, but I'm not 100% confident. He kept a blog for a while there and he really didn't like Obama. And I'm
Yeah.
pretty sure it was for racist reasons.
Yeah.
Do you remember like really early in Obama's political saliency, there was a lot made of how similar his name was to Osama?
Yeah, I do. That's why Trump still says Hussein, Barack Hussein Obama. That's exactly why he says it that way.
Yeah, there was a lot of like saying that he observes Ramadan and stuff like that, saying that he's Muslim when he's not.
Yeah.
And that stuff I think really affected David. Because on his blog, he had written something, and I was like, "What are you talking about? Like Obama's not going to do anything to like. I know that you are fighting a war, a proxy war, essentially, and a lot of brainwashing was going into them probably while they were over there fighting that war, but it started to really come out as racism." And I think racists just really like Trump.
Well, yeah, he's one of them.
Yeah.
And he makes it okay to put it out in the open.
The stuff people will say on the internet with their whole government name on their
Yep.
Facebook profile.
Yep.
Jesus Christ. I saw the Pink News post on Facebook about the trans genocide, and people were in there like, can't happen soon enough. It's too slow. Kill them all right now.
Jesus.
How did we get there? I can't remember ever be like, I know I grew up in racism. I know that I grew up
Mhm.
in white supremacy, but I never once remember anybody saying that person should be killed. They should die. They don't deserve to live because of this identity. There was always some roundabout excuse, right? It was encoded. It's just out there now. They're just saying it. I don't know if that's better or worse.
Well, there was some being out loud with it back then. My grandfather had a dog that he named the N-word. That was
Why?
he was that kind of racist, you know. And then my great grandfather, he always went by Jefferson D was the name that everybody called him, right? And I have been doing the family history. His name was actually Thomas Jefferson, and he told people that it was Jefferson Davis.
Oh,
A lot of different contexts there.
I also knew someone who named their dog that. And I remember I had gone over to stay at somebody's house overnight, and I was like, I do not like you. That is messed up. Because they loved to just go out and holler for the dog to come in at
Yeah.
night. Oh,
Yeah. My grandpa was a piece of work.
yeah. And I remember that racism. But not like, I would like to give an oral argument about how I believe these people should be murdered, and publicly talking, like making it your personality. I don't know. It seems like people don't really have personalities anymore, though.
Oh, that's true. I can't tell my students apart from each other anymore. There's like 3 prototypes, and they're one of the 3. And the problem child is always, always, always a kid named Cameron. Always.
I saw a teacher online doing a bit of like, she was trying to remember her students, but she was doing Dory's bit from Finding Nemo where she's always calling him different things like Harpo, Bingo. Your name is whatever comes out of my mouth.
I just call them you and avoid it completely.
I mean, what's the point? They're going to be gone in a few weeks.
I've got a kid. So after class the other day, 2 girls waited till everybody else was gone, and they were like, we don't know if you were aware of this or not, but this one guy, as soon as you take roll call and you look the other way, he bolts out the door. And I was like, I was not aware of that. Thank you for letting me know. And I was like, I wonder who it is. And they were like, oh, it's this guy. And I was like, okay, but I still don't know which ones they are. So they had an exam on Thursday, and I waited to see which guy he was. And I'm going to be sending him an email. So we're going to see.
Wow.
Yeah, that's some balls. So that's not like the craziest thing I think anybody has done in class besides make tacos was vape in the middle of class.
Mm-hmm. Did you ever go to class like violently high?
Oh,
or,
yeah.
You know, like.
Oh, yeah. When I first started college the first time around, it was game on. Like I was like, that's why I got kicked out.
Yeah, right. Yeah, I was just thinking about how, I mean, I know that vape was probably some sort of like flavored thing or maybe a nicotine vape, but like you could also get there could be weed ones that you're doing in just a Target or something.
Oh, yeah. Can't tell apart anymore.
Yeah.
Unless you really know what you're looking for. But if you're just a general layperson, you're not going to know the difference.
Yeah. I I don't think I didn't go to class like high or anything. I did go to class on acid once. It was awful.
I bet.
And I think the teacher knew. I I didn't expect to still be tripping. I don't know what I thought was going to happen because I took the stuff at like 3 a.m. So it wasn't smart. The class was at 11. And then I went to Thunder over Louisville.
Lord, you're just invoking all the senses, eh?
Yeah. Oh my God, what a weekend that was.
I bet.
I think I was 19, so I didn't last much longer than that in school. But yeah, it was so rough. And because it was a little bit after the peak, and I had taken a pillow with me to class. I think I really thought I was killing it too. I thought I was blending in. I didn't have my book or anything. I walked in, and it was this like giant, ancient, echoey building on EKU's campus called Wallace, and it had, you remember those heavy desks that had the metal frame? It was all one, the front and the chair together, but it was like marble instead of wood. Like it wasn't marble, but it was like this really heavy composite.
Right.
And anytime you move them, they go like. I walked into class, and because I didn't have my book, I grabbed my desk that I usually sit in behind this friend of mine named Mary, and just scooted it up into the middle of the aisle and sat next to her so I could share her book. And then the professor, and I don't even know if I'm remembering this accurately or not, but in my mind, he stood directly in front of my desk and delivered the lecture. So I was just sitting there with this, and it wasn't just a pillow. It was like this pillow full of like material that was really loud, like a peanut husk. It was one of those like sensory ones. And I just sat there and rolled it between my fingers like this for the full ever how long we were in class. I think hopefully it was just a 50-minute class, but I'm thinking it might have been 75 minutes, and just prayed for it to be over. Never again.
That's hilarious. Have you ever seen the movie How High with Method Man and Red Man?
Oh yeah, where they're growing weed
They
in
go
their
to
dorm
their
room.
Harvard is where they go to school. There's a scene where Red Man, he is taking a women's studies class, and he like goes really high, and he has a vision of the professor climbing all over him, and then he ends up failing. He's like, I failed women's studies. I love bitches. That movie is so quotable, like so quotable.
What's the movie you think you quote the most often?
Either How High or
It's probably Drop Dead Gorgeous for me.
yeah,
Yeah.
maybe, but I'm a cheerleader. I'd say probably How High.
Oh, I'm take this itchy hat off. There we go.
Hi, Peta. We're having a stare down. She looks so funny when she's not wearing clothes. It's like she's naked, walking around, freeballing everywhere. She's a burrower. She likes to get under, like, put her head under blankets and stuff. So she stays warm. She'll just get up and go to bed. Like, she'll be like, fuck y'all, I'm going to bed. And just go on back there. And it's like, all right, good night.
See ya. You know who I saw on TikTok? Hank Azaria was on there talking about how it's the 30th anniversary of the Birdcage,
Oh, wow.
which is harrowing.
That makes
It's
me
not-
feel
it
very
shouldn't
old.
be.
I've been watching a lot of old. That's my thing. Is I watch old movies when I'm grading, or Ancient Aliens is another one I watch a lot. But like right now, we have Save the Last Dance. We're halfway through it. I paused it to record with you. We watched Clueless earlier
Oh.
today.
Nice. What did I watch? I watched some. It's really awful movie. It was a horror movie, but it was like playing in my face basically about how much it was pretending to be a terrible 90s teen horror movie. And I was like, what are you doing? Like, who do you think you're talking to? Like, is Gen Z going to appreciate this? I don't know. Are 90s kids going to appreciate it? I also can't tell if I appreciated it. I watched the whole thing, but it's called Whistle, and it's got one of the girls from Yellow Jackets in it, the one that plays the young, well, I forgot her name. Melanie Linsky's character.
I've not seen that show. It's behind a paywall.
Shauna. She plays a young Shauna. It's on Sling. Sling is free.
Oh, that's new then.
It's actually been in production hell for quite a few years. Probably a lot of people suspect because of what's her face, Juliette Lewis. So recently it's showed up on, I think it's on Netflix. Yeah, it's on Netflix now. So God, it's everywhere. Hulu, Sling, Roku, Paramount, Netflix, Amazon. You probably have to pay for it on Amazon though. But yeah, it's not syndication because that doesn't quite apply, but like they are having to try to recoup some costs because it's been in development hell. Not development hell because they made 4 seasons. But something happened with some people who had disputes of some kind. And then also because of COVID, they got serious delays because Juliette Lewis is a Scientologist. And so she refused to get the vaccine. And so they couldn't film.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I was pretty bummed when I found out that she was not like the fun kind of bitch. She was the Scientologist kind. Like, oh, you're less. My crush is gone now.
Yeah.
I still really love her and everything, though.
Yeah.
She doesn't care if I have a crush on her or not. I'm sure she loves herself just fine. But I think she really is crazy in real life, though.
Yeah. I think all Scientologists are. Maybe that's just me.
Or a little stupid, right? I think Tom Cruise is kind of dim-witted. And also, like, he really comes off as somebody who barely ever knows where he is. And unfortunately, he also seems like kind of a nice dude. But they protect him from everything else that they do in there because he's their main recruiter, especially now that so many of the rest of their like mega recruiters either passed away or are disgraced now.
Right.
Because they were closet cases or predators.
Laura Prepon, the Donna from that 70s show, she has de-Scientology herself, which I'm proud of her for that. I always loved Hot Donna.
Yeah, good for her.
Yeah. That was the only strike I had against her.
Same, yeah. It's like, wow, I really like your whole vibe. Did you watch Agatha All Along?
No.
That one is behind a paywall. It's a Marvel thing, so it's on Disney Plus. You might be able to buy it individually or whatever, or maybe it falls off the back of a truck somewhere.
I have Hulu. I don't know if that means I have Disney.
It might. I mean, now I don't know if it goes both ways, but like you can look and see and sometimes you can use your Hulu login, but it's got Catherine Hahn, who I am obsessed with. She is so attractive and just like she's funny and beautiful. And like, I hope I age as well as her, because she's, I think, in her 50s and still just so like radiant. But she plays Agatha, this witch. And it's about this coven of witches. So it's like a very female-centric cast and story and stuff. And Aubrey Plaza plays her girlfriend in it. So this is the first like literally queer Marvel thing. I have no idea, right? Oh, I saw a video of how they do those red carpet interviews, and somebody asked her, "Do you have Riz?" And she was like, "Do I have what?" And they said, "Do you have Riz?" And she said, "You're gonna have to tell mommy what Riz means." And I was like, "Careful. Some of us can still get pregnant." Like, hardly anybody has my number like her. She's been in quite a few movies too, but like, I think I want you to watch her in something, and because she's hilarious, and I think that's part of what her attraction is. Agatha All Along is from like 2023. What if we just reviewed Agatha All Along, just randomly, a 3-year-old TV show? Nobody's asking for this, and that's what Queer Next likes to deliver. Listeners, should we review Agatha All Along or The Birdcage?
We've been watching a show called The Way Home on Netflix. I like time travel stuff. It's a subgenre that I enjoy quite a bit, thanks to Quantum Leap in my youth, I think.
Yeah.
It's a little bit cheesy.
Oh, the Andy McDowell show.
Yeah, but it's good enough to watch. You know what I mean? It's not so cheesy that you can't watch it. So there's a time traveling pond that they jump into.
I was going to ask you something, and then I started reading about. Well, maybe it's a good time to hear a word from our sponsor, because we've been talking a lot. So this week's episode of Queer Next is sponsored by Spring Cleaning. Happy spring. Spring cleaning arrives the first afternoon warm enough to open every window at once. Suddenly, the sun is inside the house, auditing your life like it's not to blame for this mess in the first place for abandoning us for 4 months. Dust that lived peacefully all winter lawyers up and pleads its case. Place smells like lemon cleaner, cold air, and the faint suspicion that somebody should have done this quite a while ago. The closets and corners piled high with detritus begin giving testimony. A single glove, 3 extension cords that haven't worked since 1998, a mayonnaise jar full of mysterious screws that totally belong to something important. Spring cleaning lifts each piece of evidence up to the auditing light and asks the same question. Are you still part of the story, or are you just taking up space? In the kitchen, cabinets get rearranged with newfound moral authority. Spices older than several administrations are sniffed, tapped, and given one more season to deplete. The refrigerator becomes a museum of good intentions. Out on the porch, somebody shakes a rug so hard it looks like a minor weather event. The yard fills with the sound of broom bristles, screen doors, and the universal language of someone discovering the same box of cords they swore they got rid of last year. Spring cleaning also reveals the true emotional range of a household. One person becomes a minimalist and a prophet. Another forms an immediate attachment to a cracked mixing bowl that has not been used since dial-up internet. The negotiations begin, and memories are invoked, and reputations are staked on the line. Eventually, a few bags leave the house. A few shelves breathe lighter. Windows stay open long enough for the place to remember what fresh air feels like. And by evening, everyone is sitting in a much cleaner and slightly emptier room, tired but satisfied, surrounded by the objects that survived the annual trial. This week's episode is sponsored by Spring Cleaning, emotional trauma with pine sol and a washcloth.
I like that one.
Did you do spring cleaning like as a family?
No, my mom was anal retentive and just cleaned all the time.
Year round?
Yeah. That was one of his, he was abusive, and that was one of his things. He insisted upon a clean house, and she got married when she was 16. So
Yeah.
it just became the way that she kept house.
It was a whole family affair thing. And my mom did have obsessive compulsive disorder, and so we all had to participate in that. So our spring cleaning was pretty fucking intense. There were the wall mops, right? So these mops didn't get used on the floor; they were just for the walls, and you like soak them. It was like the squeegee kind of mop.
Right.
When we were really little, though, she would do kind of fun, weird things. So she would tape sponges to our hands and knees and then just slop the house, like the kitchen floor, in mop water, and we would all just like sploosh around in it and clean the floor that way.
That's fun.
Yeah. But as we got older, it got a bit more serious. And so it was really just like cleaning shit with a toothbrush, man.
Yeah, that's
I
crazy.
did like the way it smelled, though.
Yeah. We've been doing some cleaning around here. We need to do more. There's just nowhere to put anything in this apartment, so it all just piles up.
Yeah, like Felix is about to try to climb up on this is a load-bearing pile of books, buddy. The whole house will come down if you knock that over.
Big stretch window. She had a big stretch.
Yeah, I think I might clean some. Like I sort of cleaned this room a little today. I also have the dumb job things to do.
Yeah, I've been grading all day. I had to get caught up on my online class, and then I'm doing the exams for my other online class.
I told the students I'm leaving.
Oh, how'd that go?
Or was fired. They're upset. One of them goes, I'm going to find her right now and tell her why it's a dumb idea. It's like, she knows why you think it's a dumb idea. She doesn't care. So I have to go see them in person on Tuesday and I'm not going to talk them down, because if they want to, this is how they need to express themselves, then I just need to make sure they're not wasting their time or interfering with my shit, because I don't want to deal with it.
Right. That's understandable. So I teach one class at an online university, right? So everything's online, and as the professor, you don't really get any say so over the syllabus or the assignments or whatever. You're just kind of a glorified grader. And so they're 8-week classes. So the first module, they have to do a discussion board post and a short paper. And the short paper, 8 people had turned it in scores so high that I had to tell them to rewrite it or I would submit it for academic review. 8 out of 31.
Whoa, was it copy and paste or was it AI?
Most of it was copy and paste.
From articles? Like they were misattributing?
Most of them were papers that were turned into the same university recently. So somebody's posting stuff somewhere and they're finding it.
Yeah.
Because it's like they offer the same class 100 times. Like there's so many people at that university that there's so many sections that I'm sure somebody's posted it somewhere. But it's like they don't even know that Turnitin exists. Like, we're going to catch you.
That's what I was about to say. Like, one of the things I was thinking for starting teaching writing again is like just doing a presentation at the very beginning on what I see when you turn something in. Like, here's how it proves to me that this is AI, and here's how I will prove that it was AI.
I gave a student a 0 on an exam today because he cheated. Like you said, you can see everything you do. You can see every click he made, and he went outside of the exam, like every question. And so I gave him on a 100-point exam, I gave him a big fat 0. And on his essay question, he clearly had used AI for that because it had random bolded words, let a list, and it was bad.
I saw this nursing faculty person talking on TikTok, and she showed like somebody had submitted a quiz, and they copy and pasted the answer into the quiz, apparently without reading it, because it said, "Looks like you're trying to solve a question about volumetrics in prescription or something." Like, you know how ChatGPT, I guess, will say like, "It looks like you're trying to solve this," and it said, "Without the specific question, I can't really, tell you this, but here's how I would structure this or something if I could provide you the answer," basically. And it was like, in what world would you go through the trouble of copy and pasting that horse shit from ChatGPT into an essay? Why would you even click submit on that?
Right. That's a good question for many of these kids. Why would you click submit on that? One person, they wrote an essay and they submitted it, and then they immediately wrote me an email that they had resubmitted it and please grade version 2. Don't look at version 1. They said because they had written something in there that was a placeholder and they didn't mean for it to be turned in. So of course I opened it because I wanted to know what it was. And they had basically had most of their paper, but for their thesis statement, they had "fuck bitches, get money." And it was a girl, which is what is even funnier.
I mean, I'm not mad at that.
Right? Right? I just told her that I couldn't see it. So, but yeah, that made me laugh.
Like, for a placeholder, you really do want to remember it, though. I mean, but I've done stuff like that before. I haven't turned it in. I don't think I've done anything quite like that, but I do weird things when I'm writing.
One time I was trying to tell my professor that I was turning in my homework sheet, and I put homework shit and sent it. And she just wrote back with like some question marks. And I was like, oh my God, I was so embarrassed. But we're like friends on Facebook to this day, so it didn't tarnish my reputation. But I was trying to say sheet, and I said shit. So.
Did you bring a noun of Appalachian interest?
I did. This one is dedicated to my friend Cooter, who is an Appalachian legend. I want to have him on the show someday. He's a hell of a guy. All right, so this week's noun of Appalachian interest is the Sheetz parking lot. Now, if you grew up anywhere near Appalachia, you already know that the Sheetz parking lot is not just a parking lot. It's a gathering place, a meeting spot, a social club with fluorescent lights and gas pumps. For folks who might not know, Sheetz is a sprawling combination of gas station / fast food joint that started in Pennsylvania in 1952. Bob Sheetz turned his little dairy store into what is now a whole Appalachian institution. These days, Sheetz is known for 2 things: cheap gas and food that you put on order on a touchscreen at 2 in the morning when you suddenly decide mozzarella sticks are a life priority. But the real action is not inside the store. The real action happens outside. The Sheetz parking lot is where teenagers gather after football games. It's where somebody's cousin is leaning against a pickup truck telling the same story for the 4th time. It's where you run into people that you haven't seen since middle school and end up talking for 30 minutes while holding a bag of curly fries. And sometimes things get a little dramatic. My friend Cooter once got into a Facebook argument with a guy that's decided the best way to settle things was the most Appalachian idea imaginable: meet me in the Sheetz parking lot. Now, Cooter, bless him, is one of the funniest people I have ever known, but he's also what you might call a mountain of a man. Not the sort of person most folks would pick for a fist fight unless they had lost all sense. Well, Cooter actually showed up. He parked his motorcycle, leaned against it, and he waited and waited and waited. The other folk never appeared. Well, that's one theory anyway. My own working theory is that the guy drove by, took one look at Cooter, standing there under the lights like a 6-foot-something Appalachian bouncer, and just kept on a-going. No fight, no yelling, just a quiet tactical retreat. Cooter won that contest. That right there is the Sheetz parking lot experience. half community hangout, half place where internet arguments threaten to turn into something real until somebody decides maybe they'd rather just go home.
I think people are still doing that. I saw some beef on TikTok, people tagging each other, and one guy was like, "I'm in the field right now. Where are you?" And I was like, "Oh my god."
One of the funniest parts of that Cooter fight, because it was public on Facebook, he has a lot of followers, so it showed up in my feed, is the guy said, "All right, I'm going to meet you at 2,700 hours." And everybody was like, "What the fuck is 2,700 hours? Like, what? We're meeting in a third dimension or something. Like, don't even make sense.
No.
2,700 hours."
It's another planet.
Cooter is a hell of a guy, but I wouldn't fight him either. Whew.
No, it sounds like nobody ought to.
Yeah.
Did you ever have somebody go like, "Meet me at the flagpole at 3 p.m."?
The only fight I was ever in, besides punching my brother in the face, which I'm still very proud of, I knocked his jaw loose. Not really, but it felt like it. This girl showed up. I was baby in 5th grade, and this girl showed up at my house wearing white pants and wanted to fight. So we tussled around my front yard, and then she got mud on her jeans and ran home crying. So that was my whole fighting experience.
Why would you start a fight in white jeans?
I don't know. I guess she wasn't a very smart girl. To fight me, she wasn't a smart girl.
Not to victim blame, but
she started it. She came to my house.
I remember when fights started to hurt. Like there was a shift between like fights in elementary school, like, playground fights or whatever, and then like around middle school. Yeah, people started, you could tell we were starting to get muscles and we were starting to be able to manipulate our body weight a bit better. And I was like, I don't want to do this anymore.
Yeah. I never wanted to fight a girl because hair pulling. Oh, I just couldn't handle that.
I didn't fight many girls, honestly.
That's how my mom dropped out of high school, actually. She got into a fight with some girl. And when she would tell you the story, she was so proud of it because she borrowed a boy's ring and bashed the girl like she had her in a headlock and like bashed her like 6 times in the face. Mom was like, "I felt so bad, but I just kept hitting her." They both got suspended and mom just never went back to school. And that's how she dropped out of school.
Well, yeah, girl fights are, I don't know. I mean, all fighting, especially when you're a kid, like you're just looking for any advantage. Evil things happen in kid fights. But weirdly, none of them ever like reach for weapons that often. They'll just actually just punch and kick. A grown up, if I were to get in a fight right now, I'm just going to pick up whatever's nearest to me.
Right.
And turn it into a weapon. Like, I'm not going to punch. I'm not going to let you punch me.
I have to use these
tree
hands.
limbs. Yeah. My hands is lethal weapons registered in 17 states.
Where you going, baby? Where you going? Winda is up and down off this couch 100 times.
She's wondering what you're doing.
There we go. I turned the light on. Maybe she'll get down.
Well, what are y'all doing this weekend?
Grading, and Shanna's working.
Yeah.
I'll be grading.
It's going to snow here.
It was supposed to here last night, but it didn't it melted. I don't know. I didn't go outside today, so I don't know. I'm still in my pajamas with my bed head. I said,
well,
hell
it
no.
did snow a little bit a few days ago, like just like an inch or something, but that doesn't really count here. But yeah, it's going to snow some shit about 7 to 14 inches.
Jeez.
Blizzard warning all of a sudden for basically the next 3 or 4 days.
Oh, that sucks, man. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I'm ready for this to be over, dude.
Yeah. I'm really ready for spring. So I read a thing the other day that said we won't have another sunset before 7:15 until October. The darkest days are behind us.
So much daylight here as soon as the time changes. That is my favorite thing about this place, is that as soon as the time changes, like sunset is already after 7:30 here.
Oh, wow. Nice.
Yeah. And like on the longest day of the year, it'll be 10 p.m. It is crazy how much daylight there is. Because even after the sun goes down, it stays light for a long time because it's so flat here and nothing exists.
Right.
So and there's no, what's it called? Light pollution, because there's no cities or anything.
Right.
So it's just daylight for half of the day.
That's kind of neat, though.
Well, yeah, it's pretty cool. Like if I was somewhere beautiful, I would love that.
Right.
But when I live in a house that doesn't have any curtains on the windows and I'm trying to watch a horror movie, I don't love it. I've lived here for a year now and I still don't have curtains.
We don't either. So we have blinds, but that's it.
Man, the neurodivergence is rough.
Yeah.
No, I don't have blinds. Like, there's nothing over my windows.
Wow.
The neighbor's just looking in at whatever I'm doing.
Shanna
and
would never allow that for 5 minutes. She would not allow
It bothered me a lot when I first moved in, and then I just got used to it and stopped caring. Like, I will change clothes downstairs.
If you're looking, you deserve to see it, is the way I feel.
You're welcome, you know.
Take a picture. It lasts longer.
I guess hello spring, it's technically here.
Not till the 23rd.
Yeah, God, won't even day.
It's the 13th. Yeah, still got a little over a week.
I'm gonna buy me an RV.
Nice.
And just leave.
Nice. Sounds like a good plan.
Well, listeners, thanks for hanging out with us for another week. Hopefully it's getting warmer where you are and you don't have any more of this snowy bullshit. And I don't know. Hope you're happy and well. And fuck Donald Trump and all of his bullshit.
Yeehaw, fuck the law.
Yehaw, fuck the law. Free Palestine, stop that goddamn war. And yeah, well, we'll see you next time. Say hi to your mom and them.
Bye.